if you don't have a really clear picture of your vision, which is the impact that you want to go make on the world, your values, which are really your operating system, it's how we treat people day in and day out, and your actions, that's going to create fulfillment for you. And that's what we're after. That's the highest purpose of life.
Hello, fabulous person. Beate Gillette here, the Growth Architect. Welcome back to the Business Growth Architect Show, where we bring you cutting-edge business strategies from some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, business transformation experts, and visionaries who want to help you to scale your impact. Look for one tangible strategy that you can take back and implement right away. And now back to our guest. Welcome back. This is your host, Beate Gillette from the Business Growth Architect Show. Today, we are with Jerry Macnamara. Jerry, I'm so excited to have you. Welcome to the show.
I am so excited to be here. I am so grateful to share my experiences with your audience.
Excellent. So for those of you who are listening to this and not seeing this on the YouTube channel, but Jerry has the sign behind him and it says, on a mission to positively impact 5 million people in the next 4 years. Jerry, who the heck are you? Tell us, what do you do?
Every day I wake up, I think that same thing. And so, I have been super lucky to be in the right place at the right time over the course of my career. I've run 5 businesses in 5 different industries in B2B, B2C. I've sold products, I've sold services. And I've been lucky enough that the companies that I've been a part of leading have made the Inc. 500, the Franchise 500, and the best places to work. So it's just a good testament that you can build a high growth company that's also a great place to work where people feel great about it. And so, on the second half of my career, what I'm trying to do is positively impact 5 million people. It was in the next 5 years because we're now down 1 year. So I'm 1 year into the mission. And, here's what I say. I've never met anyone who showed up to work and said, you know what, I really want to suck today. And yet there are plenty of people who are very ineffective. And it's not their fault. It's our senior leaders. We do a bad job of creating clarity for them, challenging them, comfort that they have the tools, time, and training to be successful. And then really, do you give a crap about your people? And so that's really the mission that I'm on. And that's where I've been before this.
Yes, I'm going to ask a little bit more about that. So you say it's all about proven chaos. So what does that mean?
Yeah, ProvenChaos is the name of my business. People usually chuckle at it. And what I say to people is I work with high growth companies. And so you've proven there's a marketplace, but you're in chaos because your people, your systems, or your process have not kept up with that growth. And so typically when I get involved with companies, the owner, CEO is a little frazzled. They've been working, they went 40 hours and they went 50 hours trying to catch their growth and they went 60 hours. And, as I say to people, you can't outwork scale. And so we bring calm back into the chaos by really focusing in on the people, the process, and the systems.
So let's take this to sort of the overall strategy, right? So there is so much that I really want to talk to you about that I am having a hard time to stay focused here, especially as I reviewed our preparation conversation. I'm like, yeah, now I know why I was so excited to have you on the call. So you have a very analytical way to look at strategy, but your strategy is not just a business strategy because you bring in an entirely different element to that, your own life. Tell us about the intersection of strategy and fulfillment that you bring to the table.
So I think it's a great one. A lot of times when I meet with people and they're a little bit disheveled and a little bit disillusioned, I ask them, why did you start the business? And kind of say, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. They've lost that vision that they had in starting the business. And then I always turn it around and say, what do you want the business to do for you? Because we're always sold this bill of goods that you've got to hustle, you've got to grind, you've got to serve the business. Of course, you're going to do that. But if the business isn't serving you and you don't have that alignment between what you want to get out of life and the impact that you want to make, and using your business as a tool to create that impact, then you're going to create resentment between those two things because the cost that you are paying versus the price you're being paid back is not in alignment. There's not congruent. And so people start to resent their business. And so for me, if you don't have a really clear picture of your vision, which is the impact that you want to go make on the world, your values, which are really your operating system, it's how we treat people day in and day out, and your actions, that's going to create fulfillment for you. And that's what we're after. That's the highest purpose of life. And you should be able to do that within yourself as an individual, but also inside of your business. And that's really what I try and work on to start with, because you know this, business is hard. And if you are going to resent your business or resent or get up and not be super pumped up that you get to go do it again today, then it's not going to work over the long term.
I call this the slave relationship to the business.
Yes.
When the business has become the master in the worst possible sense of the word, and you now have become the slave that is at the mercy of what the business expects from you. So let's say our listener goes, OMG, this is ridiculous. I used to love my business, but now I am not so sure. My wife complains or my partner complains. My kids told me over the weekend that they feel like they're in my way of working more. That was a hard sucker punch to my gut.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do, Jerry?
I think you have to double down. It comes back to conscious intention. What is it that you want to make in the world? What's the impact that you want to go make? Because here's what I look at. If you've become financially enriched while becoming emotionally bankrupt, you've done it all wrong. And so this whole notion that we have to give more and now, it's what society tells us. But apparently it's the words of the devil. And so more and now only works if you want more and now. But if you don't and you stop and say, you know what, man, I have this amazing company. I made the Inc. 500, but I don't have dinner with my family. I don't get to my kids' sports games. I don't even see my kids before they go to bed. Then you have to look up and say, what is it that I'm doing? And you have to stop that hamster wheel, get off and reset. Otherwise, you're going to stay in this place where you are in quiet desperation.
Wow. And we will be right back after this message with more from Jerry about how to do a reset for your business. Thank you so much for listening to the show. This is Beate, the Growth Architect. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for your time. Have you ever wondered why your business is not growing as quickly as you would like it to be? Well, you may have a business growth blocker. And if you'd like to find out what that business growth blocker is, go and take our brand new quiz at growthblockerquiz.com. And in only a few minutes, you're not just going to find out what that blocker is, but also what to do about it. Again, go to growthblockerquiz.com. And now back to the show. And welcome back. So, Jerry, you just said something, what did you call it? Emotional bankrupt?
Yep. So if we become financially enriched while becoming emotionally bankrupt, you've done it all wrong. Because at the end of the day, here's what I think about it. And I'm a capitalist through and through, but your business is a tool to create impact. And one of the things that should happen is the company should make money. Well, finances create freedom for fulfillment, right? Let me say that again. Finances create freedom for fulfillment. So you say, what do I want to do with this capital that I have? That I now have a little bit of freedom because I can buy back time. For instance, I would talk to that CEO, and I call it the high achievers trap, because I'm sure you've run into this too, because I know you're a high achiever. It's we think we have to do all of the doing. And the reality of it is we don't have to do all of the doing. We have to resource the things that have to get done. So you reallocate your capital, you hire someone to do those jobs, you get off the mouse wheel, and you get to your kids' games, or you get to dinner or date night or whatever it may be. And so we just have to be in this mindset that, yes, we want to put Benjamins in the bank, but that is not the end all be all. It is a tool. And I think once you readjust that mindset, because as my mom reminded me before she passed away in August 2020, she said, sweetheart, you know you can't take it with you. And I said,
it's
you're
ridiculous.
right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous with something like this simple, right? You go, yeah, I kind of know, but then, well, wait. But what about my legacy? And then I'm gonna have the foundation, and the foundation does this, and then I have this for my kids, and then all of my kids have a house, and he's like, no, just calm down here, take it down a notch. I like this, and I want to dial into this a little bit further because I think it's so important. Because what happens in business, and I see this a lot in my world, and I'm actually in it right now. I said Q1 is going to be my goal to fix my sales because I'm doing everything by myself right now. But now I'm
Yep.
at a point where I need to be bringing someone else in. Now, of course, when you bring someone in, you have to pay them. And now there's this part, and I'm sure our listeners can relate to that, where this part is like, is this the right time? I mean, I asked for this. I put the memo out to God, Spirit, the universe. I said, Q1 is when I'm fixing it. At the time of the recording, this is the second week of January. And guess what? And it's already starting to happen. Great manifesting of my part.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think, Jerry? My whole ego and other part of myself is doing? Screaming. Screaming in the background. It's like, are you nuts? Is this crazy? Can you afford this? Is this the
Mm-hmm.
right time? So now we are in the battle, right? So we're in the battle of we said we need it, we made the plan, we are manifesting the pieces that need to happen. Now we're freaking out. How do we, in your world, balance that with now I'm reaching fulfillment, but something keeps pulling me
Mm-hmm.
back to an old behavior? Can you help us understand what that is?
Yeah. So most people call that imposter syndrome, right? I can't do this. I won't be able to do this. And, there's a book, Positive Intelligence. It's really a great guide. I'd recommend anyone to read it. But it's this whole notion that we have sages and we have saboteurs. We can either be in our thrive brain or in our primal survive brain. And that survive brain is telling you, you can't afford that salesperson. The sales aren't going to come. You need to eat tomorrow. How are you going to do all of this? And what I found is if we continue to do the work on our mental state, staying into high levels of performance, I'm a big believer in morning routine, making sure that we're journaling, exercising, reading, meditating, all allow us to get to what I call an unfair advantage. We're priming the pump for the day that we're going to go do. And it also helps you create that positive space where you say, it's exactly the right thing and it's exactly the right time to hire the salesperson because I have this goal. And if I don't take action to hire this person, I can't achieve that goal and I can't do it by myself. And you allow yourself to remind you of the why behind what it is that you're doing and the strategies, the actions that you need to take reveal themselves. They become so obvious and you put a quiet onto the imposter syndrome. Okay, go over there, sit down, be quiet. We got this.
I love that. I wanted to point this out because I believe that there's a lot of people that are struggling with this. And this is like
Mm-hmm.
we ask for it and then it starts to happen and then we get scared, we fall back, and then we go back to not changing anything. So, talking about perhaps within this context, because that sort of is your sweet spot to help people to really identify how to push through that. So, what's a strategy you can share with us that will help people, in addition to what you already said, to maybe give them a couple additional points on how to figure out how to get to that perfect intersection of emotional fulfillment and financial freedom?
So I always come back to your why. What is the North Star? What is the thing that we are chasing? Because if you are not fully committed to that, then when stuff gets hard, it's easy to give up. But when you are fully committed to this is the impact that I'm going to go make, it's the North Star for me, then that's when you can be gritty. It's when you can be disciplined. It's when you can be resilient. And that's how you make it to the other side. And, one of the things that I say, the difference between people who achieve success, they take action differently. The people who are the would have beens, could have been, should have beens, they just don't take action. They sit on the couch and they binge Netflix. And the people who create success take action. The other thing that I've noticed in my career is the difference between high achievers and the highest achievers is their mindset. It's not that things don't go wrong or they aren't hard, but they have the skills and the strategies to stay at center, to get back to center as quickly as possible, to continue at peak performance. And they're doing the things, the mindset work, the prayer, the meditation, the reading, the writing, the exercising, all of the things that get you to unfair advantages. There's tremendous science behind this. Everyone kind of knows it, right? However, taking the action is the key core component that you have to do.
I love that. And very interesting to point out, none of your routines mentioned listening to the news.
No. I share this all the time. When I was growing up, I was a nerd. I still am a nerd. I would read the dictionary. Everyone else was reading comic books. I was reading the dictionary. And by the time I reached high school, I was reading 3 newspapers a day. I did that all the way through college and as a young adult. And when the financial crisis hit 2007, 8, 9, I remember picking up the Wall Street Journal and I think it was Bear Stearns had collapsed. And I literally folded the newspaper up, put it in my trash can. I canceled the 3 subscriptions that I had, and I've never turned back, because when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions aren't serving you, you have to change them. It's up to me to change them. And so all I was doing was feeding fear into my everyday, and it was stopping me from doing the work that I really needed to go do. And so we just stop that. We stop feeding the fear and we get ourselves back into positive mindsets.
I love that. And that is a great way for us to ask you, for somebody who's heard something and says, can I please be one of the 5 million people that you're going to impact? Where do we send them? What do you have for our audience members?
Yeah, I would tell you, I'd love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. We are pretty prolific posters there. And you can come to ProvenChaos.com. I'm sure some of your audience, senior leaders, would love to come. We do it every Thursday from 2 to 3 o'clock Eastern time. I call it office hours. And it's in honor of my favorite professor, Bill Swinford. But it's an opportunity for senior leaders to come together and to solve and tackle hard challenges, because we're always better together. And sometimes we don't have all the answers. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way as a senior leader, but sometimes it gets lonely. And that's a good place to grab some community and have some fun.
Yeah, and I like the idea of just getting together and talking about things. I find that in every business that I've ever been participating in or been exposed to, there is this element of where we get to a point where we can't seem to get any further or get out of our own way. And sometimes all it takes is be part of a conversation and hearing something. You're going like, what did you just say? And have that be that trigger that brings us this wonderful response. Jerry, it's just not enough time to talk to you, but I thank you so much for being here and for sharing your wisdom. And any last words for our listeners before we unfortunately have to let you go?
Well, thank you for having me, and to your audience. The only thing that I will come back to is your life on your terms. Bring conscious intention to it, whether it's business, your family, your relationships. Don't leave things to chance. And so bring that conscious intention, live a considered life, and you will actually live a happier life too.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great close. Jerry, again, thank you so much for having you. And that is it for us for today. Thank you for listening to the Business Growth Architect Show, and we see you again next time. And that's it for us today. Thank you for listening and watching the Business Growth Architect Show. I enjoyed having you here. And for accountability, just take one of the strategies that you have heard, one thing that you can implement in your business immediately. Please leave comments. Don't forget to like and share this show. And if you have any questions about business, please put them in the comments. We are here for you. We're here to support you and help you to grow, build, and scale your own business. For more advice, please check out our website in the show notes below. Thank you again. This is Beate Gillette, the Growth Architect, and goodbye.